Last time on Dice Fall and Everyone Dies.
I will mage hand the halberd and the freaking bow down. Let's just get the fuck out of here.
Santa's very worried about the tree.
If I could take back the fire, I would, but at the same time, no, I wouldn't. We're all alive. Let's go home.
That whole platform is caught on fire.
Are you dull?
The forest catches fire often. It's a natural part of the forest clearing.
It was set by Vons.
It's not that we do not believe you, dear adventurer. It's that our jurisdiction extends as far as these walls and these walls only.
So you're cowards, of course.
We have duty.
Your duty is to protect your town, yes? So when the fire comes to your town, what will you say to them?
Luckily, we have a river.
Welcome back to Dice Fall and Everyone Dies. I'm your GM Chris, and today I want to talk about why on earth in a small town in Isker they decided to put a fort outside of a cave out on a mountain in the middle of nowhere, very, very far away from the Chitterwood during the Goblin Blood Wars. Our really astute Pathfinder lorehounds may have noticed that it makes little sense why on earth you happen to have a tree fort right outside of a cave. Now there's a couple reasons for this, and a lot of it comes down to the nature of what ended up happening with goblins in the Goblin Blood War. Now the main source of the goblin movement was the Chitterwood, but underneath the Chitterwood was this interconnecting layer of caverns. Now, the reason that this is very important is because there is a segment called the Darklands that exists in Galarion, which is an interconnected system of caverns that runs in the crust of the planet. These are connected through various means, and that there are multiple levels of connections as well. In the Goblin Blood Wars, the Chitterwood has a sequence of caverns that runs underneath it, and that sequence of caverns can connect in almost any spot in the countryside, typically around where you're going to find different types of formations like mountains, in the case of the Chitterwood, the forest, most anywhere you're not going to find a direct interaction with the body of water. And so what ended up happening was some of the caves ended up getting exposed to where they could flank out from away from the river, away from the Chitterwood, and quite a few goblin tribes made their homes in this cave. Now, goblins happen to reproduce prodigiously, and you can fill up a very large cave system and have a thriving tribe there. And so a sequence of forts was built, the one that was assaulted by the party being one of them, and what they did is that they elevated the fort off the ground approximately 20 feet, which actually gives you a very solid headroom to be able to strike safely down at swarms that may be coming out of that cave. And so the reason that we ended up seeing such an interesting elevated setup that the party had some fun interacting with the mercenaries on was because it was designed in a way to actually be able to handle assaults out from the cave. This very much triggers the type of design methodology that would be used for such a fortification. That's why there was only one ground structure. There was multiple structures up in the trees. It's not something that you would consider to be fortified from a ground assault perspective outside of the cave, which is one of the reasons why the party was as successful as they were. But if you were trying to attack from inside that cave, you would be a very unhappy goblin. We here at Dicefall want to thank you for sticking with us through now over 30 episodes of the podcast, and especially through all of this wonderful COVID craziness that is going on across the world. We hope everyone is being safe, being cautious, keeping their head about them, and taking all the steps they need to make it through this global health crisis. And we are not entirely unscathed on the podcast, but where this is affecting us as a team is it is not yet safe for everyone to come together and go through our standard recording sessions. So in this session, we're going to have a distanced experience where all of our typical sound vectors are not properly controlled. So we're making do with the best we can, and we're hoping that our local area is going to be more opened up for cautious recording here in a couple weeks. So while we have a COVID contingency occurring, we do hope that you bear with us. And in the meantime, if you can go ahead and put in any comments or ratings on your podcast app of choice, that really does a great number to help out the podcast. If you know a friend who needs a good story to take their mind off the stressors that have coming down the pipe for these last few weeks, go ahead and toss a link on over to our podcast, and we'll be more than happy to entertain folks with a lovely story where we talk about crazy goblins and making friends with deep boxing kobolds. Speaking of kobolds, why don't we go ahead and check in and see exactly how the party is going to make up for past failures. Welcome back to Dicefall and Everyone Dies, COVID edition, coming to you through the power of Discord and distance audio recording. How is everyone doing today? Oh,
good.
And
I'm so ready to play Pathfinder.
Same.
It's kind of funny. You don't realize how many cues you get from body language talk, so you're never really quite sure when to start talking in those situations.
It is definitely going to be a very different type of situation that's there. Body language definitely being a big one, because normally when we record, we're all sitting down at a couple tables pushed together, the mics are all set up, and we have this ability to look at each other, with most of us giving Shay the side eye or giving Sid the side eye on any crazy things that we have going on at any point.
First of all, how dare you?
And secondly?
There's no second of all. Just I wanted to say first of all.
Well then, second of all, because we're running around on Discord this time, and we are in a less controlled sound environment, we're going to periodically maybe get a little bit of robotization, maybe a little bit of lag going in. So forgive us ahead of time, but we will be trying to do what we can to make sure that none of that comes up in post. And maybe I'll end up having to learn a few more tricks for that. But in the interim, when last we left off, our intrepid adventurers had just finished running back to Breachill with a set of fire not quite on their heels, but in their hearts. And apparently Breachill cares very little for Smokewood the Bear, and we're not willing to send any folks up to deal with the fire, much less heading up into the danger around where Vaz was at. And the party was licking its wounds after getting ousted from a cave.
Yeah, we pretty firmly got our asses handed to us.
And so as we kind of come in to the morning scene as everyone is waking up, we find Taffy is woken up by slobber on her face as Luna is sitting on her chest, paws on Taffy's diminutive shoulders, and is just licking furiously because someone needs to go out and take care of her business this morning. At the same time, the pillow fort between Damos and Stano fully dividing the bed there. Y'all hear this kind of woofing sound from Greaves as she also needs to take care of her business as well.
Wait, both dogs are female? I thought Greaves was...
No, they're both female.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're both girl puppies.
Now, Zach, did you have a particular destination at the end of your pub crawl last night?
No, he was not thinking very far ahead.
Oh no.
So, Zach, you find yourself kind of nestled up in the crook of one of the roofs, and you think that's probably because your lovely dragon Dago decided that was probably the coziest place to rest when you and Alec parted ways after parting oddly hard with Pib and Zarf, learning the esoteric nature of kobold deep boxing. And when y'all all eventually come down for your morning breakfast, you find Alec, Pib, and Zarf in the common room of the Wizard's Grace, and Alec is already armed. He appears to have replaced his sword, but he looks like he is nursing the mother of all hangovers.
Oh boy. See, that was my concern with letting them go out.
And then you look at Pib and Zarf, and they are just kind of chattering back and forth. And it seems as though that they are trying to discuss the difference between boar sausage and pickles and whether or not that they are the most appropriate combination of food ever. And then you just kind of see Alec's eyes glancing back and forth between them, just doing his best to reduce the amount of pain that you can see bouncing between his ears. And then you see Trino come over and set a dark liquid in front of him. She kind of smiles, and he gives her that crooked smile that y'all have seen before. And he begins sipping his cup of coffee as y'all enter down. And as he looks up, he gives you almost a pleading look to come save him from the kobolds.
Stano's gonna make her way over to Pip and Zarf. Boys, why don't we go outside? Would you like to assist me with Greaves?
But we haven't finished breakfast yet.
Yes, I believe Alec probably needs a moment for his coffee. It'll be here when you come back, I promise.
We should probably also go ahead and get our training done this morning too, Zarf. All right, let's do it. And so they head out with you.
Stano's gonna go out with them, kind of let Greaves take care of her business and keep an eye on them while they do their morning training.
And then Alec takes a look at Demos and Taffy. Y'all wouldn't happen to have something for hangovers, would you?
No.
Unfortunately, no.
Then let's hope this coffee is sufficient. I didn't know that the goblins were working on their own blend of beans. I'm a little worried. I'm just glad it doesn't taste like pickles.
Of beans?
Yes, they call this thing cafe. It's mildly
Repeat that one, Chris?
Cafe. I don't understand it. It's not quite coffee. It's not what we would normally receive either at the barracks. I'm just glad it doesn't taste of pickles. That's all I need to know now. I hope you all have rested well. Where's Caslin?
I don't know. I thought he was with.
Right at that, Caslin bursts through the front door, says, "What a great morning!"
Caslin had just burst in through the front door of the Wizard's Grace. Caslin comes through, and he seems to be in a far more chipper mood than Alec. How on earth are you in that good of a mood? You had more to drink than I did.
Oh, come on, you little... You drink way more than me, and do you remember those winches? I cannot believe you did that with that winch. That was insane.
Oh, I thought that was a dream.
Well, you did say that your dreams had been fulfilled, so I don't...
Well, I did always wonder what body shots were, and I guess I learned, didn't I?
What the hell?
What happens in Breachill stays in Breachill? Is that right? No?
False.
Oh my. Caslin, let us never speak of this one again, please. Oh, this coffee's a little bit better than I thought.
Well, it's up to you, Rick.
So, have we thought of a plan?
Okay, I'm assuming at this point Stano has wandered back in with the kobold after seeing Caslin come running in. I believe the plan at this point is just to go back. I mean, we can't just leave her there.
If she has any sense, she's probably already left.
That implies she has sense.
Well, we don't quite know why she's in there anyway, do we?
No.
She was quite arrogant, so she probably doesn't think that she has anything to worry about.
That's true.
She does have access to powerful magic. I mean, the difference between those thorny appendages was orders of magnitude difference in preparation. Which, thanks for a couple new scars, Lady Taffy.
You're welcome. Chicks dig scars, I'm told.
Caslin, is that true that they dig the scars?
How would Caslin know?
You're right, we should leave that to be. So are we just going to plow right back through the cave?
No, we should definitely have a plan.
The plan is we go over there and we kill her.
I mean, that's a good plan, but...
That does sound like
But
frontal
I
assault territory.
I didn't see another way into that cave. I think that's our only option on it.
You're probably right.
But we can go in with some forward thinking. I don't know if we'll be able to lure her out, though.
I don't think so. She's probably gonna fortify there if she stays.
Well, if that's the case, do we need more than just an evenings of preparations and drinking? Maybe less drinking next evening?
Perhaps less drinking, Sistagra.
Well, whatever y'all decide, I will follow your lead. I have to retrieve my sword.
Said that last night. All about that sword.
Oh my god.
Caslin.
Hey, he said it, not me.
There's at least a 75% chance that that's true. Or we're both misremembering. I hope we're both misremembering. So, as y'all, from the sound of what I'm hearing, y'all are going to head back up to the entrance of the cavern. Did y'all want to head out immediately? Did y'all want to make any preparations beforehand?
Should probably make some preparations.
Agreed.
Okie doke. Let's go ahead and start with Caslin. Is there anything that you need to purchase or prepare beforehand?
I don't think so. Really, I think I have all my weapons. So, and there's not really a whole lot I can do more than just swing things.
And Damos, are there any preparations that you would need to make?
Not really.
And then Steno?
Honestly, Stano is probably gonna head up to... Oh, where is it? There it is. The Great Dream House. That's where all the clerics are, right?
Yes.
Is that where she would buy any healing potions?
So at the Great Dream House, they would probably have a few in stock. What type of... Are you looking for minor healing potions, lesser healing potions? What kind were you looking for?
Probably just some lesser ones, just to have on stock. It's pretty obvious that everybody kind of needed that buff.
So lesser healing potions are 12 gold a pop. How many would you like? Now that does not count your adventurer's discount though. So let's go ahead and get the adventurer's discount. I believe is 5%.
You said they're 12 gold?
Yep.
I'll buy 5.
So that ends up costing you 57 gold pieces. And that's including your adventurer's discount. And so those lesser healing potions are going to get you 2d8 plus 5 on there. So as you head up to the temple there, they are very cordial. The young apprentices at the front are more than happy to bring you in. You tell them that you need your healing, you need some healing potions. They take you over to their apothecary, and lesser healing potions, and they're like, donation to Desna, and you kick it all out, and they're like, oh yeah, you're the adventurers, and it takes a little bit off the top. Desna smiles for y'all today, and y'all perform the exchange.
I sure hope so. And she's also going to stop into that fucking quarters of bits, that fucking halfling.
You head into quarters and bits, and you see the apprentices, and they see you, and they get very kind of stiff in their backside, and they're just like very like matter of fact. But you see no sign of the main proprietor.
Damn straight. She is going to buy just one short sword.
So they get the short sword, and with the discount on there, I believe that is going to be 9 silver, because I think a short sword is like a gold. We'll double check. You look a bit in a hurry, but right before they're getting ready to do the final ring up. Normally we offer an engraving service, madam. Do you need one of those today?
No, I think it'll be fine.
Excellent. Then let's go ahead and get this rung up for you, and then pleasure doing business with you.
And she's going to take her sword and head back to where everybody else is and give each of you a lesser healing potion. There's also one for Alec.
So the short sword actually ends up costing you 8 silver pieces with the discount. And
Okay.
Alec takes his potion. He's like, excellent. And he puts it into his belt pouch to where he should have pretty quick and ready access to it.
Alec also got a moderate healing potion too, right, Chris?
He's not a player.
Aw.
God damn it.
Paizo's free potions only apply to players.
Fair enough.
So so you'll have potions. Taffy, have you done your spell preparation for the day?
I'm working on it, but yes. After she prepares her spells, you said the Voss was like the main curator of scrolls and such. Was there anybody else that might have some?
So you know that Trinil Uskwold is the next most accomplished wizard after Voss in town. And she's the one who is working on your enchantment presently. She also periodically serves coffee.
Not half, eh?
I deal with what I have, Master Caslin.
So she's the one that works at the tavern, right?
Yes. She is the proprietor of the Wizard's Grace.
Okay, so she's gonna go up to the proprietor and ask about any kind of scrolls.
Sure, honey. What kind of scroll are you looking for? I might have a few in the back here.
Any damaging scrolls?
Are you thinking like, what, Burning Hands, Magic Missile? We have a few. Some of the
Ooh,
lower
we have
level
a
ones should be
couple?
fine.
magic missile?
Let's see. For the basic set, I think I probably have a couple emergency ones we can let go. We've been pretty safe here the last few months, so I haven't had need to make use of them. We can probably let you have those for probably about 3 gold and 7 silver.
And is that factoring in the...
It is. And I think I have about 3 on hand if you want to make use of them, love.
How many?
I have about 3 of those on hand.
I'll buy all 3.
Oh my, excellent.
You said it's 3 gold, 7 silver?
Yep. And now I can't help but notice y'all seem to be gearing up. What threat are y'all about to go accost?
Are we all in the tavern?
At
No.
this point, yes.
No. Okay. We're about to pursue a suspect in the fire that occurred.
Really? I thought they had already had Calmont down in chains and in the dungeon underneath the town hall.
It appears that Calmont was the only one involved.
Oh my. So you're saying that there was a devilish mastermind behind it?
Yes, and her name is Vaz.
Vaz of the Rain? What on earth would she want to burn down the city hall?
I suspect it was a distraction.
But the distraction for what? So many questions abound.
We will certainly have you updated, Miss Trino.
In good time.
Well, I wish you the best of luck and that you can bring her in for questioning, because such a thing would need to be brought fully to justice.
Miss Trino, do you prefer mystery novels?
I think I like a good investigator story.
I think I can tell.
It's always about the thought process that happens. Me being able to connect the dots. It's like a great mystery novel is like the inner workings of a beautiful spell.
Well, thank you very much, Miss Trino. Are we all ready?
I'm ready.
So with everyone geared up between running up to the House of Desna, getting everything squared away with the scrolls, you're probably looking at about noonish at this point. And so are y'all going to head up back to the caves on foot? Or are we going to try to get and secure horses again? Or will
Yeah, Stano needs a new horse, guys.
Yeah, we can get horses.
Not that Kathy needs one.
Taffy's gonna ride with somebody because Braxton is still, I imagine, in rough shape and she doesn't want to risk him again.
where would y'all like to have Luna and Greaves through this?
We should leave them, maybe.
Yeah, we could watch them for you. It'll be great to play with wargs. I've never played with a warg by myself before. There's nothing that we could really get up to here.
I am
Stano's gonna give
seriously
Greaves a
concerned.
very. Stano's gonna give Greaves a very long look. It's like, can you be good for the kobolds? That's not what I asked you. I asked if you could be good for the kobolds. That's a good girl.
And then Luna's like,
Taffy's gonna go up to Luna, place her hands on either side of her adorable face, give her a nose, and ask her, all right, or essentially say, all right, so I'm gonna need you to follow Greaves' example, so you have to be really good, okay? Please? I'll bring you back a present. Yeah.
and so
Okay.
each of them kind of pat around next to him, one sitting beside Pib, the other sitting beside Zarf.
Hey, Pops, you want to learn to deep box?
Oh no.
Don't worry, we've got this one covered until you get back.
Zarf is the one who casts spells, right?
They're both sorcerers.
Oh boy. If I come back and either of you has cast a spell on my warg, there will be consequences.
What about Featherfall?
That is acceptable.
Guess who's going base jumping?
Oh no!
Wait, Zarf, what's base jumping? You stand on the base and then you jump off of it. It's kind of like a stage dive. Oh, we're learning so many new words at Roxy's.
I'm sure she's a wonderful teacher.
So, what does Wimble look like today?
I'm thinking.
I was worried I dropped there for a minute.
Ultimate form, Ryan Reynolds.
It is attained. The prophecy is true.
So, Wimble Reynolds kind of does his little, kind of quick flyby, pats Luna on the head, and zooms on over and sits on Taffy's shoulder, and he kind of gets this big sort of showy hand wave, and then he brings like one hand down across his face, and he goes from happy face to serious face, and then he points his finger forward, like, let's go. So y'all head out to the stables, and as y'all are getting set up, the young lads are bringing the horses around, and one of them kind of stops. Is like, Lady Demal, a quick issue right here. We're more than happy to put another one of our horses into your care, but my manager has told me that the deposit fee's a little bit higher this time.
That's fine. I really understand.
Thank you, Lady Demal. And so they get your horses kitted out. Y'all expect to be gone for a day. They want to know how much they need to prepare them for.
Hopefully just a day. If it's longer, we've messed up somewhere.
Just for emergency's sake, prep them for 2 days.
So they prepare a bag of oats. They put a few carrots, a couple apples in there for the horses so that they can be taken care of and treated along the way. And then they get y'all tacked out, and y'all can begin heading up. This process takes another about 30 to 45 minutes, so it's about 1 when y'all are crossing the walls that separate the town proper from the edge of the wilderness. And you see a fresh-faced set of guards there from when y'all had entered the previous evening, and they look to be not quite on high attention, but wary. Y'all see that there's still the vague haze up in the direction of which y'all came from the previous afternoon, with a haze up in the air. Not quite like a billowing impression, just you can tell that there was a fire very recently.
Wood smoke the bear weeps.
And so y'all begin traversing up towards the cave complex that y'all had discovered. And as y'all begin approaching towards the clearing, you see that the apparatus that the tree fort was in has essentially burned entirely to the ground. What is left of some of the trunks is a mishmash of still hot embers. A few parts of the wood are not fully burned through. The platforms at some point had fallen down, and luckily it doesn't look like it caught any of the surrounding foliage on fire. But in front of the cave is this blackened, charred heap of charcoal at this point. What was left of the cabin appears to be essentially gone.
Do we see the bodies of the orcs?
Everyone give me a perception check.
I got 19.
I have 18.
And Taffy?
1 sec. It's a raw 18, but let me add my perception.
And then Caslin?
So mine was 25.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. I'm at 18.
So everyone who got above a 15, you notice that the original set of bodies that y'all came across, that y'all had dealt with before heading into the tree fort to begin with, those have been moved. And as y'all begin looking around, you can't see the body of the one that you knew that fell off and that was burning. You weren't able to see anything in the spot where the cabin was. And one of the things that Taffy does notice, though, is that it looks like the bodies were definitely dragged, of the first 3 orcs that y'all had encountered, were dragged towards the mouth of the cave. And you're still probably a good 50 feet off from the partially covered entrance of the cave. But you can spot that there are some spaces to where you've seen stuff drug into the cave.
Well, fuck.
And how close do y'all want to approach the cave entrance?
Can we get within, 20 feet of it?
You can.
Maybe not like directly towards it, like coming at it from angles, so there are people looking out. They have a hard time seeing us.
So y'all kind of approach around the hillside where the rock, it is, you can see discolored by a lot of the smoke that had rolled up from the area. As you begin moving forward from where everything had been burning, you can tell that there are no newer footprints moving through, because even as you step, you can tell that your feet end up making obvious footfalls in the area. And so as you approach through, kind of coming in from the side, the cover that was still in front of the cave seems to be intact. And as you're moving through, Wimble kind of points out a few things along the ground. So, Taffy, you have nature, correct?
Yes.
Go ahead and give me a knowledge nature. And Caslin can give me a survival.
I got a 15.
22.
And so as Taffy kind of begins noticing that more than just the fire has disturbed the cover in this area, Caslin, you notice that it looks like a lot of things were carried into the cave. Anything from what could be brambles. It looks like you've seen spots where stones have been disturbed. Spots where you would have expected to have seen a rock fall when you first came down. A fairly large set and mix of stones and ground cover.
There's been disturbance here. I believe they may be more prepared than we think.
I feel we must expect to have the full amount of combatants again.
I suspect you're right.
So, how would y'all like to approach entering the cave?
Fully?
Stealthfully?
Yes.
Alright, so do y'all actually want to stealth in?
Well, probably be a good idea.
Check for traps.
What if we waited under the cover of night? Because if there are people inside the cave, then they can certainly see us come into the cave by our shadows and stuff.
It's not a bad idea.
Do half elves have dark vision? No, they don't. They only have low light. Elves only have low light vision, so yeah, coming under the cover of night should be a good idea.
So, y'all want to wait until the evening?
Yes.
Yes.
Alrighty. Well, y'all will just be waiting. Is there anything you want to do while y'all are waiting?
No? Probably just kind of take cover somewhere and watch the cave entrance.
Okie doke. Then we'll go ahead and run some stealth checks then. Do y'all each want to do stealth checks, or do y'all have an expert in stealth in the party?
Just trying.
Alright, so then everyone give me y'all stealth checks.
Oh, I'm gonna submit a thing.
So we have a button coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, one from me too.
Button, 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 button.
And for me,
Alright, so...
I got a 20.
That works.
Mine is a 16.
Not
mine's 19.
15 here.
So y'all move back out towards the edge part of the clearing.
Oh, I'm gonna set Vaz as my 100.
Excellent. Then, so Kaslin takes kind of a branch and tries to cover some of the footfalls on the way back, making sure that y'all kind of back up along the area, moving towards where the trees begin reasserting themselves outside of the fallen aspect, and y'all kind of begin hunkering down, waiting for any additional activity. And then, we start.
Well, never mind. I was gonna say, can we retcon me doing that before I made that stealth? But it's fine.
So y'all have a good 4 hours or so until we start getting into sunset. The sun begins setting down. You can tell that the light from the west is like shining in. You can kind of see the entrance to the cave a little bit better from where y'all are at. But y'all have been observing and not seen any movement at this point. And the sun is just beginning to dip into the trees, moving into where you're kind of almost into that twilight aspect. And so the sun continues to drop down. Do y'all want to wait until the sun is down and y'all are kind of in some twilight where there's low light, or do y'all want to wait until the moon has risen up over the hills themselves?
If the
Probably
I'm sorry, go ahead.
probably best to go in once the moon has risen.
Mhm. Well, wait. If we wait till the moon's risen, the moonlight could give us away.
So twilight, you think?
Yeah.
And so we're now kind of like the 6 p.m., 7 p.m. time. The twilight is rising up. The sun has just finished its setting at this point. And so there's just this very low amount of light. The shadows from the forest are very eerie because of the fire in this area. Y'all hear almost no insects, very minimal bird sound and forest cover. And it is very eerily quiet in this area. You've been looking around, you've not seen any particular predation in this area either. It is a very uneasy quiet for what you would expect to be of this forest. Who's going to enter first?
I don't like them.
Can we do like a perception check? Maybe like I realize that's kind of what just happened, but maybe in a perception check.
Sure, go ahead.
Well, that sucks. 12.
So you've not seen any changes inside around the mouth of that cave. And for
Okay.
the segment that you can see in there from when the light was going in, you hadn't seen any movement or changes whatsoever. So how would y'all like to approach it?
So Stano should probably go in first, since she's, the tank of the group.
All right, and who's going to be behind Stano?
I will, and I'm gonna draw my bow.
I'll be behind Red or Kaz.
I guess I'm following up the end.
So you then want Alec and then Deimos?
Probably Deimos and then Alec.
Then, and so as you look into the cave, give me... Well, we'll go ahead and keep everyone's stealth because y'all have been very cautious this entire time.
Can we also have Deimos cast an Inspire Courage and Inspire Defense before we go in?
You can, but since he's playing the liar, that's probably going to negatively impact your stealth.
Never mind.
So, you begin heading in. What are you going to use to see? Because as you look deeper into the cave, it is pitch black in there. Because no one has dark vision.
I cast dark vision on myself.
Okie doke. And so as y'all are beginning to enter in, so Taffy, from where you can see, because there's probably a passageway approximately 10 feet long that enters into the main part of the cave before it opens up. And as you look down into the cave, you see that kind of towards the left-hand side, the pathway that y'all have not explored yet, there are standing what appear to be two skeletal figures. They don't seem to have noticed y'all yet. And you can see a little bit of the opening to the right that y'all had explored before, and you see that has been stacked up with debris. The two skeletal figures do not seem to have noticed y'all yet.
Can I make a perception check to seek prey in the dark?
I think you can use secret or.
So you can do a seek action. It being in the dark can give you a sense of about where they're at. It'll be about the same effect as Taffy kind of telling you the direction of where they're at. Because they're in full darkness and you don't have a proper light source into this area, your seek action will be able to at least let you know which squares they're in.
Okay, I'm going to do that real quick.
All right. Go ahead and give me a perception then.
How close are we to the skeleton?
So the skeletons are in the back part of that entrance, and so they are a solid 25 feet away.
So I get a +2 for that, plus my perception 11, so that's a 24.
So it's very difficult to tell the shifting and rustling of the creatures because they can stand perfectly still, not being alive. What you can hear is that from the last time that you were in here, you can sense that there has been a shift to the kind of the currents and how the air would flow around and through the cave, and you get this faint scent of undeath that you've experienced before. You can kind of tell that there's skeletons off to the left, and it seems to kind of corroborate about what Taffy was telling you. So
Okay.
You feel pretty prepared to know where they would be as soon as there's light.
So, as softly as she can, she's going to inquire, do you want me to cast Dancing Light?
So the only creatures that we have in this area are just those two skeletons, right?
From what you can tell.
That feels ominous.
Agreed.
Yes.
Taffy's going to cast
If-
Dancing Lights.
If Taffy casts Dancing Lights, then Stana will move into attack.
And if she does it, I'll be ready to shoot the bow.
Alrighty, everyone, give me perceptions. We're going into initiative.
24.
9.
That is
27.
That is a heck of a low initiative there, Demos.
16.
I rolled a 1.
Yeah, let's see where Alec falls into this one. Glad I'm getting those ones out of the way myself on Alec's initiative rolls. Hey, you know what, Damus? At least you're not going last.
How?
Because Alec he rolled a 1 too, and he has a lower dexterity and initiative bonus than you do.
That's just so sad.
Yeah, and he has a very similar wisdom to you as well. Taffy kicks up the dancing lights and brings them across the space. And you can see in the cavern, Stano, from you being right there in the middle aspect of the entrance, 25 feet away, are two skeletons. They seem to have taken notice but have not yet had an opportunity to act. And it is your action in the initiative, Stano. What do you want to do?
And it's a skeletal guard and a skeletal champion from last time, right?
So you see that there are two skeletal figures. You would need to use an action to determine more about them.
That's fine. Are they standing right next to each other?
They are standing next to each other. It looks like they are
Cool.
guarding a passage.
She's going to sudden charge up at one and attack.
Do you want to do so in a way that puts you into melee with both of them, or just one of them?
Just one of them.
Sounds good. And you're going to strike at them?
That is a 33.
A 33 is a critical hit.
Yes, because I rolled a 20. So give me a second to do damage.
And you're using your greatsword, correct?
Yes, I am using the +1 greatsword.
You normally would have wounded their muscles, except these are skeletons, and thus cannot have muscles to be wounded. So you will get your standard critical effects and your additional damage die on there.
36 points of damage.
So as you move up with your strike, you can tell that this is something that might have been recently animated, and it's not the most well held together apparatus, and you smash through it. Its bones at this point essentially go flying in this set of sinew and gore, its short sword clanging off against the side of the wall as you smash it to pieces. You have one action left.
Cool. Well, I was going to have her shove the one into the other, but I guess it doesn't really exist anymore now, does it?
Nope. It is definitely no longer there.
Then she is actually going to use her last action to summon the Onyx dog.
So, do you want to summon that into melee with the skeleton, or just next to you?
Summon into a melee flank.
Alrighty. Taffy, you just watched Stano come up and practically baseball bat this skeleton. What would you like to do?
There's still one up.
There is still one standing.
How far away am I?
From where you're at, you will be 30 feet away, because you are 5 feet behind Stano's starting spot. Or you're 10 feet away from Stano, so you're 35 feet away from it.
I'll cast Ray of Frost.
Alrighty, make your attack roll.
21.
21 is a hit. Roll thy damage.
And it's plus my spell attack modifier, right? Or no, not spell attack. It's against my...
So you'll get 1d4 plus your spellcasting ability modifier.
Which isn't, so it's going to be 6 damage.
And your cantrips heighten up to the present spell level that you can cast. So that is to a second level Ray of Frost. So you'll be doing 2d4 plus your spell plus 4.
Oh, right. Let me roll another d4. So that's 9 damage.
So as your cantrip begins coating the bones of the creature, you can tell that it is initially not highly affected by it, but the amount of frost that you're just putting out begins coating its bones, and then even the phantom ligaments almost kind of frost up a little bit, and then eventually it's just, you hear this creaking as the bones themselves become so brittle it can't even take the weight of its armor, and it just almost powders down.
Wait, I just killed it with a 9? Cool.
It looked like it had initially resisted, but the magic was enough to be able to push through.
Nice.
Phantom Ligaments would be a pretty cool band name.
Right?
Doing what I can so that Damos's future band ends up being the most awesome it can be.
Don't give Deimos a band.
It seems as though Vaz has been busy.
Yes, but her quality is certainly lacking.
That was 2 actions. I'm going to move up behind Stano.
So as y'all check out the room and you bring light into it, you can see that the passage that y'all initially had entered through looks like it has been choked for well over chest height, and in a couple places all the way up to the top part of it. Someone has been piling debris, rocks, very, very large pieces of material. At some point, it looks like they were bringing in dirt and sand and just filling up as much as they could at the bend of the cavern and all the way up to the initial opening inward. And you'll see that the opening where these skeletons were at seems to be the only way forward at this point, unless you want to take probably a significant amount of time, at least several hours, to try to dig through all of the debris that's been placed.
I suppose we're moving forward.
Do y'all want to keep that same marching order?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you going to modify it now that you have your dog involved?
Ooh, that's a good question. She's actually going to dismiss the Onyx dog.
Alrighty. Boop. How many times per day can that be summoned?
Give me 1 second. Let me bring up Archives of Nethys. Hashtag not sponsored.
One of these days I will have the placement of all this memorized.
I guess we could ignore the original one, because you can only summon the Onyx dog once a week.
Okay. Your
So
faithful.
never
You tried to summon
mind.
your faithful hound, and an after image of it appeared in front of the skeleton, and then it got blown away by the frost at the same time.
Whoops.
So, y'all find yourselves at another 5-foot wide tunnel. From the light, you can tell that about 15 feet down, it appears to open up into another larger cavern. And Stano is going to be the one moving forward.
Yes.
How are you going to move cautiously? Or are you just going to brazenly walk forward? How are you going to do this?
She is going to move cautiously.
So y'all begin moving cautiously forward. As
She's going to extinguish all but one of the dancing lights. She's going to have that one kind of close to her hand so she can kind of muffle it so that we can see a little bit, but not so much that it gives us away too bad.
So if I remember correctly, the dancing lights orb illuminates about 10 feet, at most 15 feet away from it, that light source.
Yeah.
And so that is going to limit Stano's vision.
Well, then I'll have it hovering by Stano, so Stano can muffle it if need be.
Okay. And so that allows Stano to see well about as y'all enter the opening, as it opens up about 10 feet into this area well, and it's a little dimmer as you look towards what you think might be close towards the back side of this cavern. The corners seem to be filled with thick strands of spider webs, and you can see in the center of the westernmost wall, very dimly, there seems to be a pouch of some sort of thick webbing, and it trembles with the occasional vibration. And you see that there's a thin stream of minerals dripping from the center of the ceiling, and it has the floor slick, and this whole area is treacherous footing. Just even moving around any segment from where you are at the opening here looks like it will require at least a acrobatics check to be able to move around the floor of this area. And you see 10 feet to your right appears to be another opening. What would you all like to do?
Does Stano see anything else?
Give me a perception check.
That is a 23. Sorry, I forgot how to do math for a moment.
So as you kind of peek and peer around the space, you're not quite sure where the vibrations are coming from, that the quivering of that mound in the back is coming from. And that seems to be the primary source of movement that you can see. But you'd have to move in onto this slick ground to be able to tell too much more.
Would I be able to use like maybe nature to get an idea of what we're countering here.
Go right ahead. Give me a knowledge nature.
16.
From what you can tell, this looks like it might have once been some sort of spider's den. Looking at the age of the webs, it doesn't look like they are freshly spun. So maybe you might be looking at maybe something that has been cocooned up in that sack. There could maybe be something alive in there. Maybe something... It's hard to tell. You're getting mixed signals.
Are there any rocks or anything around us?
Well, you are surrounded by rock in the cave.
Just
so
like a loose one,
you
though.
do know that there was a lot of loose stone in the other covering, because they had a lot of loose piled debris at the entrance to the other offshoot that had been blocked. But here, not so much.
Then Sada's going to turn her head towards the back of the group. Pass me up a stone. I believe Alex at the back.
So, Alec pulls out his torch, takes a moment to light it up, and so he begins walking back towards that. And everyone give me perception.
17.
Got an 18.
So,
27.
17...
28.
18. So, just as Alec turns, y'all then notice that something lowers itself down in front of Stano as she is turned, and it looks like it is poised to attack. Damos, you have 3 actions allocated to you now. This thing has silently dropped down and is getting ready to do maybe something unspeakable to Stano. Let me give you a quick description of what you see in front of you. Come on, monster section. Let's get on over there. So you see what appears to be something very insectoid. It has 8 limbs, each ending in what appears to be hairy talons. Some of the limbs are positioned on its back as though it might be well formed for crawling in and around cavernous spaces. There are 3 separate clusters of eyes, and it has a toothy maw of mandibles, and jutting out from it, poised to begin a strike, is a long, red, barbed tongue.
First of all, I am uncomfortable. Second of all, why? Third of all, how dare you?
Damos, what do you want to do? It's your turn.
I'm going to do spiritual weapon,
Alright, so you summon the spiritual weapon behind it?
and I'm going to strike with.
Hypothetically,
Mm-hmm.
if I wanted to cast Magic Missile from the scroll, could I heighten that?
So you cannot cast it at a higher spell level than what it's been written as.
Okay.
25 to hit.
I do believe that hits. Let's see if that crits. 25 hits, but does not crit. How much damage you got?
12 damage.
And so your trident comes in and it spears it, and you hear this high-pitched clang as the chitinous nature of it hits into it, but it gets into more of the kind of the soft, squishy parts of it, and you just hear this into it. It was not happy with that. So that's 2 actions, right?
No, the hit was another additional action to my casting it.
So that took 3 actions,
Yes.
and that was 12 points of damage. As I furiously scribbled down my notes.
And it's sustained for up to a minute.
All right, Taffy.
I'm
Hey.
going to use a level 2 spell slot to cast Heightened Magic Missile. So
All
that's 2 missiles per action I spend, and I'm going to use all 3 actions.
So you're going to unleash a fury of 6 missiles, right?
Yes.
Those are going to miss Stano's head, right?
Yeah, they go where I want them to go. They will not miss the mob.
So this is 64 plus 6.
Jesus.
That's 20 points of damage.
Holy fuck.
I want to aim for all 3 eye clusters in its mouth.
What's with the eyes, Sid?
I don't know. Taffy really doesn't like eyes, especially multiple sets of eyes, apparently.
It's like she's got her eye on something.
Did I kill it?
You did not kill it.
God damn it.
I'm just making sure that I have my all the things in order. And so you unleash this volley of missiles into it, pummeling around its face, and it lets go of its string as it drops to the ground. And then you see its clawed hands come up in front of its face, like, no! Don't hurt me! Peace! And it begins to then back and move away deeper into the cavern. Steno.
To carefully step into the cavern, knowing that it is treacherous footing.
All right.
We will not continue if you'll let us pass through here.
You will not hurt me?
Only if you will allow us to pass through this area unharmed.
Then, fine, we have the deal. Y'all are much more dangerous than the pointy-eared elephant lady. She is down that hole.
Does it point to the other hall in the place?
So, as to your right, you see that there's an open tunnel that it's hard to tell because of the depth, but it does look like it curves back around.
What are you?
I am Balka.
Can I make a nature check?
You know that this thing is not technically natural.
Okay.
In fact, you think it might be some sort of aberration. You can make an Arcana check.
I would like to make an Arcana check. Okay, and I'd like to use my assurance with my Arcana.
All right. So what you got?
So that's plus 10, and then my Arcana, right?
Right.
22.
So from what you can tell, you think that this is what is called a Tixitog. It is an aberration, somewhat associated with spiders, but not actually a spider. From what you know of them, they tend to actually prey on spiders. So they are insectoid or arachnoid in nature. It's hard to tell with this species, but they are an intelligent aberration.
Have you seen her do anything unusual lately?
She has been having her minions pile up material and guarding. She said that I must attack anything that comes in, or she would sick her minions on me and my snack.
Your snack?
Yes! There have not been many spiders, so I snack on those who try to visit her.
Why did you just say that to us?
Because you asked?
Fair point.
Was it a person?
The last one?
Still alive?
Unlikely. Do you want to come check it out?
Caslin, please do not poke that sack. I swear to Gorum.
I poked the stack.
Oh, God damn it, Caslin.
So as you move over to it, let's make sure I have all of the things here correctly.
That sounds ominous.
I do everything to make sure that things sound ominous. You poke the sack, and immediately bursting forth, a swarm of spiders coats all over you, Caslin, and begin biting into you. Just poking it was enough to unleash the writhing mound of swarming spiders.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you?
That thing is a lying asshole!
And so, what I need to know, Caslin, is your AC. As it begins... Oh wait, I forget. Swarms are a little different. So swarms automatically hit, and so what I need you to do is make a reflex save. And so it is going to... In fact, I need you to make 3 reflex saves and tell me them in order.
Second one is a 19.
What was your first one?
21.
Okay.
The third one is a 26.
Okay. So you're getting bit, but you're able to shake them off enough before they're able to inject any significant amount of venom. But the first one deals to you 4 points of piercing damage. And then another one gets a bite in onto you for another 1 point of piercing damage. And then a third one gets in for another 2 points of piercing damage.
No, my snacks!
And now you see Alec come back at the end. I got the rock. Demos, it's your turn.
Great timing.
What would you like to do with your 3 actions, Demos?
Well, I still have the spiritual weapon, right?
You do.
I'm going to use that to help attack the swarm.
Alrighty. So you begin moving it over. You have to use an action to move it and an action to strike with it, right?
Yes.
Okie doke. Make your strike.
19.
19 hits. Go ahead and roll your damage.
16.
16 points. So the trident stabs down into it, and the magical force seems to spear a large portion of them, but it is still up and active, though partially dispersed through the magic. You have 1 action left.
Alright, I'm going to try to attack again with it.
Alright, go ahead.
So that's -5, right?
For your second strike, yes.
18.
18 hits.
11 damage.
So your trident is able to sweep through and disperse the remaining bits of spiders, and the airflow that comes off takes the ones that have been on Caslin, especially this big, meaty, juicy one is the last one that bit him, and your trident stabs through that one, clearing them off of Caslin.
No.
Taffy.
Does this invalidate our deal?
No, I think we're still fine. That was Kazlan's fault.
Well, I mean, I guess I don't have to catch him now.
Fair.
Did you want the things inside of it?
Things inside of it?
Well, I mean, yeah, the spiders had to eat something.
Oh. Do we see, like, the sack now? Like, did it fall apart, or?
So, Caslin, give me a perception check.
A very itchy perception check.
Yes.
28.
So, as you're looking through, inside the sack appears to be a refuse from what you assume are multiple meals. Some are small animals who might have been wandering by, but you do see what appears to be a half-chewed humanoid corpse amongst the mix. And do you have medicine at all?
No, I do not have medicine.
You do know enough to know that it was some small humanoid of some form. But on there, you do see that this form was wearing a fine splint mail and appears to have a rune-etched star knife of some form.
Well, can I wear it? If it was small, can I wear it?
Immediately, no. You'd have to make a few modifications to it.
Okay. Well, I just take that shit. I don't know what any of it is, but I'll take it and worry about that later.
And Taffy is able to immediately tell you that both of those have magical qualities about them.
Magic. Interesting.
And in fact, the star knife happens to have a more robust magical signature than the armor.
With Detect Magic, can I tell what type of magic it is?
You would need to be able to spend time studying the item to identify it, but to know what type of aura it has, you'd have to use Read Aura. But you can just tell that it is magic and that it is a more robust magical signature.
Okay. So the star knife, and then what was the other thing you said?
Splint mail.
Splint mail.
And so...
Oh, that's heavy. I can't wear that. Does anybody want this splint mail?
Well,
There's a dex cap of 1.
it looks a little small, so at the moment, no.
That's a weird combination of items.
We should still bring it with us.
Alright.
So, are y'all going to set back up your marching order?
Yes.
Now, Alec has kept his torch burning, and so y'all can see amongst yourselves fairly well, but y'all can see well 10 feet in front of Stano, and then Deimos can see about 10 feet further down after that. The tunnel that leads off from the Tixotog's lair takes a fairly sharp turn to the right as you begin moving down towards it. And then you can tell it takes another right as you get there. And just as you see coming around the end, you're about 10 feet down this second right turn, when just at the very edge of it, Demos can kind of make out the hinting line of the boxes.